So this is our third lesson on standard form. Could somebody just quickly unmute just to confirm that they can see that screen, please?
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So so standard form. So what our first lesson and our second lesson were all about changing from normal numbers to standard form, or standard form to normal numbers. And the key bit to take on board, this standard form, this first number has to be between 1 and 10. Okay, if it isn't between 1 and 10, so it's smaller than 1 or bigger than 10, we need to make adjustments to it in order to bring that first number between 1 and 10. And that's what this lesson is all about, adjusting to correct. Okay, so we're trying to correct numbers that at a first glance look like they might be in standard form. They're nearly in standard form, but because the first number isn't between 1 and 10, they are not in standard form. So this is going to be your homework once I've finished the live bit. You're going to go and do Hegarty number 124. Now the first question, or the first couple of questions, are like this. Okay, select all the numbers that are not written in standard form. Now they are written in standard form, as I said, if the first number is between 1 and 10. So I'm just going to put a tick on the ones that are in standard form. 2.3, that's between 1 and 10. 4.82, that's between 1 and 10. 5 is between 1 and 10. 3.88 is between 1 and 10. So those are all written in standard form, but those four on the top, 24, 80, 58.2 and 500, they are not between 1 and 10. So those would be the ones you would select. They are not written in standard form. So that's how you're going to answer the first one or two questions, please. Now, this is going to be a typical question, and this is what I think most of the questions are going to be like, okay? So the first number is not between 1 and 10. So your thought process has to be, right, where would the decimal point go to make that 59 between 1 and 10? Well, it would go between the 5 and the 9. So we've got to end up with 5.9 times 10 to something. Okay, that's getting the number between 1 and 10. Now, how do we go from 59 to 5.9? We divide by 10. So in your workings, just divide by 10. Now, when you divide by 10, that's dividing by 10 to the power of 1. Okay? Now, we are just trying to adjust the number. We are not trying to change the number. So if I've decided to divide the 59 by 10, if I'm dividing that by 10 to the power of 1, I have to do the equal and opposite to the 10 to the power of 7. I have to go and multiply that one by 10 to the power of 1. Okay, and then these two here are always going to be the equal and opposite. If one of them is dividing by 10 to the power of 1, the other is multiplying by 10 to the power of 1. If the first one in blue was multiplying by 10 squared, then the one in red would have to be dividing by 10 squared. They've always got to cancel each other out, because the idea is you're not changing the overall number. So the blue bit and the red bit have to be equal and opposite. So I've gone and divided my 59 by 10 to the power of 1 to get 5.9. So I'm going to have to go and multiply the 10 to the power of 7 by 10 to the power of 1. So I've now got to do the second bit. 10 to the power of 7 multiplied by 10 to the power of 1. Now when we multiply, we add the powers. 7 add 1 equals 8. So our final answer would be 5.9 times 10 to the 8. Now, if you like, you can almost just do it without all these workings. That 59's got smaller, so 5.9. So that power has got to get bigger. So it's gone from a 7 to an 8. Okay? So when you get the hang of these, you can probably just do it just by looking at them. Okay? So the final answer is 5.9 times 10 to the 8. That is the same size as 59 times 10 to the 7. It's the same number. It's just our final answer is in standard form. The question was not. That's one I just prepared just in case this thing didn't work. Okay, let's go through the same process, sorry, for this question number 4. So I need the first number to be between 1 and 10. 0.2 is not between 1 and 10. So how do I make it between 1 and 10? It becomes 2. I have gone and multiplied it by 10. I have multiplied it by 10 to the power of 1. 0.2 times 10 to the power of 1 is 2. Now, that's dealt with the first term. I've now got to go and do the equal and opposite to the second term. So rather than multiply by 10 to the power of 1, I'm going to have to do the opposite, which is dividing by 10 to the power of 1. So I take my 10 to the power of 5 and I divide by 10 to the power of 1. Now when I divide, I subtract the powers, so that's 10 to the power of 4. So my final answer is 2 times 10 to the power of 4. And again, some of you will be looking for the shortcut. Go right back to the beginning. What did I do to the 0.2 to turn it into 2? I timesed it, I made it bigger, so I'm going to have to make the 5 smaller. So the 5 becomes a 4. Okay? So the 0.2 I multiplied by 10, so I've got to divide the 10 to the power of 5 by 10. So that my final answer there would be 2 times 10 to the power of 4. 2 is between 1 and 10, so it is therefore in standard form. Okay, so same idea here. This third one we're going to practice. 59 is not between 1 and 10, so I have to turn it into 5.9. That's between 1 and 10. How did I do that? I divided by 10. I divided by 10 to the power of 1. That is 10. So I have to do the opposite to my power. So rather than divide by 10 to the power of 1, I'm going to have to multiply it by 10 to the power of 1. So I'm going to have 10 to the power of minus 7 multiplied by 10 to the power of 1. Now when I multiply, I add the powers. What is minus 7 added together with 1? Well, think about a number line. That is minus 6. So my final answer is 5.9 times 10 to the power of minus 6. Okay, again, just reflect on your answer. 59 to 5.9 has got smaller. So I have to make 10 to the minus 7 bigger. And because I'm in the minuses, to make it bigger, it goes from minus 7 to minus 6. Right, and last one to finish. Okay, so 0.295 is not between 1 and 10. What would be? Well, that would be 2.95. Notice we still keep the same number of digits. How did I do that? I multiplied by 10. I moved all the numbers along one. The 2 moved along one column. So I've multiplied by 10 to the power of 1. So what do I have to do to the power? I have to do the opposite in order for them to cancel out to keep the number unchanged. So I'm going to divide by 10 to the power of 1. So I've got 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by 10 to the power of 1. Now when I divide, I subtract the powers. What is minus 6 subtracting 1? That is minus 7. So my final answer is 2.95 times 10 to the minus 7. And that would be my final answer. Okay, my first number has got bigger, times 10. My second number has got smaller, times 10. Now, these are not easy, so don't get frustrated if you don't get a very good mark first time. Just keep on going and see if you can get something over 50%. Okay, right, that's it, guys. So well done. Good luck with Hegarty 124.